our first one, yeah. Let's see. Our first one went to Arizona, but this is the one that's in Washington, D.C. right now. Mrs. Hill's mother took Stanley to Arizona in January when it was really cold here, but it was really sunny there. And I know, she showed him the plants, but she put him in the cactuses, didn't she? And who remembers what these were? Grapefruit, that's right. But they weren't big enough, they looked like oranges, right?
Yes. Look like lemons.
Then our next Stanley went to the farm with my friend Rita. And when he got there, first thing he did was check out the food, didn't he? And they found out that they put all of their food in jars. And then he got to play with the baby. Then he was going to go take a tour of the farm. And this is what they go in to look around the farm. That's their mule. Does that look like a mule?
No, it looks like a Jeep.
And that's her grandson, and those kids get to go on 4x4. And then we saw the cows.
Where are they? Oh,
At the farm. See there's Stanley. And he wanted to ride the horse, but he didn't get to. He got to ride the tractor.
So you never ride a tractor?
And then they went out in the woods. You remember what that was? They had, yeah, they had mines on the farm, and this is where they used to keep the dynamite to keep it from getting wet.
There's no dynamite there?
No, there's no dynamite left in there.
Yeah.
Then Rita got sick, and she had to go to the doctor and get blood, and Stanley went with her to hold her hand. Then afterwards, they were so good. Guess where they went to eat?
Buffalo Wings.
Then they stopped at the Brown County Hound Supply because they do a lot of hunting on their farm. And Stanley got to see some of the things they hunt. The skunk? Yeah. Who hunts a skunk, huh? Yeah, Rita. Yeah, Rita. Then they had to go home and clean house.
Oh my gosh.
And Stanley had to do the sweeping and he had to do the laundry. But that was because they surprised him with a birthday party. They made him cupcakes and the grandkids came and they had a birthday party for Stanley. I know. Yeah. Then right before he left, the baby chicks came. That was about maybe 6 weeks ago. So yesterday when I was doing this, I asked her to send me a picture of the baby chicks now, so you could see how much they've grown. Look how big they've grown in less than 6 weeks. Uh-huh.
2 weeks from on my grill.
Okay, this is Stanley went to Springfield.
I like the Springfield.
Yes, and this is with a friend of mine, and she wrote us a long letter here to tell us everything Stanley did. And she says, Stanley had so much fun in Springfield, he got to go to work with her, a lady named Mrs. Montgomery. He got to look out the office window in downtown Springfield. He could see the state capitol, but he wanted to get closer, but not that day. On the weekend, they took Stanley on a ride in downtown Springfield, and he got to see the Supreme Court building. He got to see the state capitol building, and they drove by the governor's mansion, which she says that they give tours of those in the summer, and they drove by the Lincoln Library and Museum. Stanley didn't want to get out and walk around. He had forgotten his raincoat, and it was raining really hard then. The Lincoln Library and Museum is a tribute to Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure you have talked about him in class. He was the 16th President of the United States of America, and he lived in Springfield. He has a big library with important papers he signed in it. He also has a large museum that has many wax figures of him, and all of his family are in it. It is also a replica of the White House when Abraham Lincoln lived there. This is another place that I hope each of you get to visit while you are in school. It will make all that boring history come alive for you. Stanley was very impressed just with the outside of the building. But then, the best part of Stanley's trip was his visit to New Salem. So, this is where he got to her house, and they told me they watched the Bulls game, and he got to meet her dog. And then he checked out what was in the refrigerator, of course. All of our Stanleys, for some reason, want to eat all the time.
But he didn't.
He didn't get anything. So he tried to get the dog to beg for a treat. Then he went to work with her, and this is her office looking out in Springfield. He's kind of plastered on the window, isn't he?
He's sticking on the window.
Yeah. Then he went to New Salem, and she says the best part of Stanley's trip was his trip to New Salem. New Salem is a pioneer village just outside of Springfield, where Lincoln lived when he first moved to this area. Who's been to New Salem?
I have.
Have you? Stanley got a flyer to share with the class. Stanley says that if your teachers do not take you to New Salem, you must ask your parents to go. It is so beautiful in the spring. You walk all over through the pioneer village, and people pretend to live there, tell you all about the person who used to live there. They have a big garden, oxen to pull the plow. There is a grain mill and many other houses and stores to see. Stanley was very tired after his big weekend in Springfield, that he went to bed very early. He has been no trouble at all. Thank you for letting Stanley visit with me. Mrs. Montgomery in Springfield, Illinois. I know. So here's some pictures from New Salem.
The museum?
No, that's New Salem. You go walk through this town, and they have these buildings, like log cabins and stuff.
The museum right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does say that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You will. All right. Yeah. He was still in Springfield on Groundhog's Day, but he didn't see his shadow, did he? No, it's kind of cloudy that day. And this Stanley found out the other Stanley was having a birthday party, and he wanted one. But this Stanley got cheesecake for his birthday. I do too. No. So then Stanley had to come home. The weekend was over. This Stanley had to go to Las Vegas. The t-shirt says, "Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, baby."
That's a girl shirt.
That's a girl shirt? I think it's a baby shirt.
Yeah.
Don't you think? This Stanley went with my husband's cousin and her husband, and there was a wedding they went to, their son's wedding. And the note she sent me was, "We went to Vegas for our son's wedding, took pictures of everyone that knew Flat Stanley. He knew a lot more people than we did. We went up and down the strip. Flat Stanley especially loved the M&M World Store. It was 4 floors of nothing but M&M candy, toys, t-shirts, and just about anything that you can think of. Flat Stanley also went to the Grand Canyon and made friends with some Indians, and then stopped at the Hoover Dam before heading home." So, this is from their hotel room. See that pond, sort of?
Gosh, that you